I was lucky to do a couple of details. One was in D.C., which was a 6-month detail, Washington D.C., work on our nation's capital, which, by the way, is a shithole. Excuse my language, but it is it's not a very friendly place. And we worked areas in 5D, 60, and 70 of DC. And all we did was we had an informant would go in, buy crack cocaine. If he saw a gun in there, we'd write a search warrant and we'd go back and kick the door in. In 6 months, our group, which consisted of about 9 people, did 76 search warrants. Just kicking the door in over and over, taking guns off the street, doing stuff. So that stuff always really appealed to me. I kind of, in 1989, ATF developed our, what they called at the time is ECT, which is Entry Control Team. It then turned into the SRT, which was Special Response Team, which is like a SWAT team. I was one of the original members of the San Francisco team in 1989. And I find that was where I was like, okay, I want to do this. So I did that for 17 years, and I did it full time and as a supervisor, a tactical commander for a while too. But that's how you start off. I mean, I did one, Don did a tobacco case. I worked on because it was another agent's case, but I worked on an alcohol case. And it was not what you're thinking. You're thinking moonshine. No, this was actually a huge fraud case where this winery they picked the grapes. They picked 2 types of grapes: Grenache grapes and Zinfandel grapes. Well, Grenache grapes are cheap. Zinfandel grapes are expensive. So they fill up the gondola 3/4 of the way full with Grenache grapes and top it off with Zinfandel and pass the whole thing off as Zinfandel. It turned into like a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. So I worked on that kind of a case, but that's the only alcohol case we did. My bread and butter, my whole career was firearms. Did a couple of explosive cases. When I worked in Reno as well, and is also in Denver for a couple of years in each place. And those are, like Reno was one. It's basically one group. So you did everything. So if an arson case came up, you worked it. If an explosive case came up, you worked it. So it's whatever, you don't have the luxury of being in one group or another. Whatever came across the table, that's what you end up working. So I focused my entire career was on guns. Basically, most of them are, crooks, if convicted felons in possession of firearms, drug dealers in possession of firearms, machine gun cases. These are all cases that quite frankly, they're the violent people that are out there doing all these heinous crimes. And so those are the people that we want to target, and those are the people who are trying to get off the street. And like Don talked about, firearms tracing. That's kind of the first step in crime gun intelligence. Crime gun intelligence, helping find that information right off the bat, knowing that, hey, that gun, that crook, that felon who cannot purchase a firearm legally, he got that gun from somebody. They use a lot of straw purchasers, girlfriends or friends, and they buy guns for them. But where did that gun come from? And when you find it that's out of state, then somebody had to transport that into the state, which is also felony as well. So, those kind of cases, that's the cases we focused on. Like I said, I worked a lot with the narcotic unit in San Francisco. Worked with them a lot. So they're called inspectors. They're not detectives or inspectors. It's like Inspector McCallahan. They're inspectors. I worked with those guys. Those guys are great. Love working with them. No, it's just like you have one mission. It's like find the knucklehead, get them arrested, and get them off the street.
Okay. All right, Don. I'm going to hit you with the fun questions. Okay, or the fun question, then I'll get Shawn. Favorite best case you've ever worked?
I would say the best case that we ever worked was when I was in Chicago, and we were part of the firearms trafficking group there, and guns were coming in, and we had, the U.S. attorney was all about prosecuting individuals there. Well, we had several individuals that were down in Alabama and, never stepped foot into Illinois. Their boyfriends or cousins would go down, they'd buy the guns for them. We actually had them where they FedExed 4 handguns up to these guys in Chicago. But what really resonates with me about that is that we had such a very powerful U.S. attorney that was willing to go after these. It was the first time ever in the district that we prosecuted people in that district that never stepped foot in the district. But we were able to show that they knew that they were buying these guns to go up to Chicago and I think it was like 28 people that we ended up getting cases with, and of those, I think three or four were in the Chicago area, and the rest were out of the state, and a lot of them never even stepped foot in the state. But we were able to show, venue and how a lot of these guns. We had one case, she bought an AK-47, and 2 days later, the gang used it on a drive-by shooting in Chicago. And as you know, it happens all the time. 12-year-old girl sitting on the porch of her grandma's house gets shot 3 times by the AK because they got the wrong house. The bad guys drove up on it, lit it up, and killed her. It was just horrendous. And being able to work with the PD to get the shooter, but then also, a lot of times the case ends there. No, we got the shooter. Okay, here, they're going to trial. Okay, who gave them that gun? If they didn't get that gun, that person is culpable in that murder. And we were able to work with them and identify the lady that bought that gun for him and get her prosecuted as well.